Hey kids, it's me, Mr. Castiglione, and there's a person behind this artwork. I want you to try and guess who it is. Drum roll, please.
Hi
Yay! It's Miss Pease. She's here today to show us how to do a mandala. What in the world is a mandala, Miss Pease?
Okay, this is an example of a mandala, but they come in all different styles. This one is more free flow, created with paint and paper and found objects. But basically a mandala is a circle art. It's an ancient word for circle. So you start with a circle in the center and you work your way out, creating patterns as you go. And they can be done in various styles, like this is a free flow one with an upside down tree. Let's turn that right side up. So you can see there's a tree in the middle and then some free flow patterns around the outside. Or they can be done like the one we're doing today in geometric shapes that go out from the center. And you can take whatever creative freedom you want. Today we're going to use Sharpies and mark on a ruler and just some round objects to create something like this. But you could paint, you can layer paper. There's a stone in the middle, there's a metal piece right here. I took some wings from a piece of paper and I created wings for my mandala. Up here is a flower in the corner. You can get as creative as you want. So it's really a great way for you to relax, create some art that you can hang on your wall.
Oh my goodness. Get ready.
Okay, we are going to create a simple mandala that you can put in your bedroom, put on the refrigerator. Just a really fun, bright, piece of art that's very simple, and the fun part about them is you can create them in any way you want to. So I'm going to get you started and then you can go mandala crazy at home. Now I'm going to show you this paper towel because last night when I got paper towels at the grocery store, I was excited when I unwrapped them and found that I actually had a mandala right there on my paper towel. You can see how it starts in the center and then each circle is building the entire piece as it goes out, and then there's some smaller ones at the side. They're created with rhombuses or rhombi circles and then a larger circle in the center. Very simple teardrop shape, but the shape is being repeated all the way to the end of the mandala, and we're going to do that today. So some of the tools that you'll need: a ruler, some round objects. So this is a lid, and you want them to get smaller in size. If you start with a plate, you're going to have lots of layers. So the number of different size circles you have will determine the number of layers that are in your mandala. So when you're finished, you end up with something like this. Before you color it, it will look like this. And before we start, of course, it's a blank piece of paper. So always start with your biggest object. Because if you try to start with your smallest object, and then you try to center your larger circle, you won't know where your smaller circle is. So you have to start with your large one. And you need a marker, but if you're going to do a pencil, that will work too. You can just go over it when you're done. So hold your circle. And you might have to do it more than once. And perfection is not something you're striving for. This is supposed to be enjoyable, relaxing, and fun. So it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. So I have my biggest circle. Now I'm going to put another one in there. And you have to be careful because if it's off to the side, your mandala will look a little funny. So you want to sort of play with it until you feel like it's centered. Holding it down. Draw the next one. And then lift it off. Alright, take the next one, center it, and again it doesn't have to be perfect, so don't throw your paper away if it's not perfect. Create a masterpiece from imperfection. And then my smallest one will be in the very center. Ta-da! Okay, now I'm going to show you the one that's finished so you can see. We have to create a series of lines that will then end up being our pattern. So that's where your ruler comes in. The way that I did this one is I divided it in half to start. So you have to kind of look at what's half of this circle. And then I just drew a straight line in the outer circle and a straight line in the second circle. on this side and this side. When you lift it up, your circle should be divided in half. Then I'm going to do the exact same thing over here. And the outer circle. Okay, so you can see that it's starting to come together. Because I didn't put a line in here, it looks like it's a different layer. So it's creating some movement in your art. All right, I'm going to do the same thing in between because I'm going to use that to create that starburst effect. And then one more. And the nice thing about circles is there's so much symmetry. You can play with all kinds of shapes to create different layers in your mandala. And of course, Sharpies are just fun. Okay. See, I missed one right there. I need to go back and pick that up. Okay, so I noticed that this is a little thinner over here than this, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to just have fun with it. Okay, so now we're going to create this sunshine in the middle. And the way that I did that is that I just estimated where the center was of each of these little sections. And then I'm going to use my ruler create the triangle. So it really helps you with your estimation skills, your spatial skills. If you had trouble with geometry, this is a great way to get some better skills. Okay, you see how I created the triangle just from that dot, bringing that dot to each of these corners. And as you go around the circle, it will create that starburst for you. And you just take your time. You don't have to be in a hurry. Now, if you use a pencil, you can, of course, erase the lines that you don't like, or you can just get wild and go for the Sharpie. I think sometimes it's just fun to go with the Sharpie and see where we end up. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, just 3 more real quick and then we'll head to the next part. Now I'm using a thick piece of paper. It's called mixed media, which means I can paint on it, I can use watercolors on it, and it won't go through. But if you're using a piece of printer paper or copy paper, you need to have something underneath, a couple of pieces, because your mom will not be happy if you end up drawing on her table or her countertop with a Sharpie. Okay, there's our starburst. The next part that we're going to do, and the fun part is you can color each of these different colors, you can color the sun all one color, you can make it look like something other than a sun. Okay, so now we're going to do this outer part. And the way that I did the outer part is from each of these sun rays, I just lined up the opposite ends and sectioned that off. And again, if I got out my ruler and actually started measuring, it wouldn't be perfect. But that's what I love best about art, is that you don't have to be perfect. It just has to be fun and feel good. If art is making you cry, it's time to get a different kind of art. That's not the art for you, and it's not for everybody. If drawing isn't your thing, find something else. All right, now we have the outer section, and to make the little triangles right here, we're going to take these 2 points and match them up to that. So really, this was just a series of lines that have created all these fun geometric shapes that then you get to decide how you want to color them. And the best part is, if you put it in a frame, you're going to think you created a masterpiece. When I teach art too with adults who don't do a lot of art, I tell them, don't worry. As soon as you put it into a frame, it looks gorgeous. And it's always fun to have things hanging up that make us smile. this is almost finished, and it'll be ready to color, which is always the most fun. And you could have used a red Sharpie if you want. The black just makes things stand out. Now, because a Sharpie has a thick point, sometimes you have to kind of get your ruler out of the way of where you want your line to be. And notice I'm just turning the paper so it's comfortable for me. I don't have to try to go around the circle. I can bring the circle to me by just turning the paper. All right, we're almost there. And then always sign your art so that people know that you created it. And there we have it. Now, on this one, I also divided the center. And afterwards I thought, I don't think I like that as much. So I didn't divide the center here. However, if you want to divide the center, all you have to do is connect these points and you will have divided the center, and you can color it however you want. And then I put my initials down here in the corner. And there you have your very own mandala. Happy creating!
Whoa, I'm caught in a kaleidoscope. The secret word is mandala.